Greetings dear viewer, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the October album haul. It's wonderful to be back. I feel like I use the same intro every time, but you know the drill by now. Crap weather outside, just got out of the shower and not the best lighting and sound, but I make do with what I've got. Now as you can probably tell by the thumbnail to this video, it's going to be another one of those jumbo album hauls. Now there's two quick reasons. Number one is over the school holidays, I worked heaps of hours and thought, right, I'll treat myself to a couple more of those super duper cheap CDs that I picked up a couple of weeks ago. Actually, no, it was a couple of months ago now. Wow, 2020 is going so fast, and you know, I don't think there's any complaints there. And reason number two is I'm finally starting to get some more hours at my place of work, so it's really good. It's nice to actually be able to go into a supermarket and be like, you know what? I can afford that Ben & Jerry's non-dairy ice cream for a change, but it doesn't mean I'll be buying like heaps more CDs every month. At least I'm gonna try, you know. Self-restraint. And just like last month, the day I finally sit down to record, you know, some of the next month's albums arrive, so I'm already looking forward to talking about those ones. But today we're taking a look back at the month of October, all the new albums I got, the new release, the old albums that I've picked up for the first time, and just all those sort of fun discussions that I have. Don't want to waste too much time before jumping right in, but I wanted to really thank all the support I've gotten. I don't get too many comments on that, but the ones I do get, they're normally really nice, so it's nice to see that there's like a couple of people that watch them month after month. It's really good. I know, I really appreciate it. Rightio, new release albums of the month. I ordered 4, and only 2 have arrived. Bon Jovi's 2020 is in the country, but the place I ordered it from doesn't have it. And I don't know how, but they found me's debut album Razzmatazz. That's coming over from, I think, the United States. I don't know, they had the album delayed, so I don't know if it shipped overseas earlier to accommodate for the pushed back release. I don't know how it's working, but those 2 haven't arrived yet. But the first major one I wanted to talk about is Gorillaz Song Machine Season 1 Strange Times with a Z. Naturally, I got the deluxe edition. Now, there was a very small controversy around the Song Machine and the prices of all the merch and stuff. There's a couple of videos online that I've seen floating around. I haven't sat down and watched them, but this one here was quite pricey for an album. I mean, it was a deluxe version, so that makes sense, but even like the regular edition, I think, was still more than the standard disc price would be. But I'm not here to talk about this. I just wanted to say that this is a 2-disc version, which in all the pre-release marketing didn't mention that it was a 2-disc version, the deluxe edition, so it still ends with Momentary Bliss, and then disc 2 has 6 bonus tracks. And of course, if you know the Gorillaz and you've collected their stuff before, you know they put a lot of effort into their album releases, vinyls and CDs and everything. It's very annoying that the back of the CD case, the little plastic wrap has the track list sticker on it, but of course when you take the plastic wrap off to throw it away, the sticker's gone. It's yet another album that doesn't have the track list on the back. It's one of my pet peeves. No, it's not even a pet peeve. I genuinely hate it. Wolf Alice, the second album, did it. I think Humans, the other Gorillaz album, do it. I really don't like it when bands don't print the track list on the back of a CD, because it's just annoying. Anyway, as for the album itself, I absolutely love this. The first time I sat down to listen to it when it arrived, I said out loud, I think this might be my favourite album of the Gorillaz. Now, obviously time will tell, and I don't want to judge too early, but I've really enjoyed listening to it a few times. This one, I didn't realise how excited I was about it until it was delayed by a week. Not delayed by a week, but you know, New Zealand never gets their albums on time, and this one, despite being the long weekend and it arrived on the day, they didn't send it with Saturday delivery. I don't know. That was another reason, by the way, why there's more. There's a long weekend in New Zealand, the Labour Day, and there's sales and there's 20% off, so I may have gotten a couple of extra albums. We'll see. Unfortunately, disc 2, like the bonus tracks, I don't really like them. Of the 6 tracks on the bonus disc, I only like 2 of them, so that's a bit disappointing, but the album itself is really good. They released most of the album in the months leading up to it, and I think of like the 7 or 8 tracks they released beforehand, there were only 2 of them I didn't quite vibe with, but when you're listening to the album from start to finish, like, I don't even care. They've just got so many good sounds and so many good collaborators, and it's so good. I'm still disappointed about Pink Phantom. That was a song that was released I was going to talk about, I think this month or last month, but because the album's out, I'm not going to talk about it, but it's so close to being a good song. It's got Black and Elton John in it. Now, I don't think Black fits with the song. It could have been like a really good, like Damon Albarn, Elton John synchronizing, just singing, playing off each other, then that would sound really cool. Like, he's obviously a talented artist, Black, but he doesn't really fit with the song, and there's this annoying like sound going in the background that just bothers me. But anyway, I've spent too long speaking about the Gorillaz album, and I've still got like 10 more to go. Now, the other kind of new release album I got this month was Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory 20th Anniversary Edition. Now, I've never owned a Linkin Park album before. Actually, that's not true. I got one for $1, I think. 1,000 Suns, the album that the fans didn't really like, aside from the latest album, but anyway, it was like $1 or $2 from Mighty Ape on clearance, so I got that one a while ago and listened to it once, and It was alright, haven't listened to it since. But in my childhood, my youth, when the Transformers movies were like my favourite for some reason, I loved all their songs, and I remember being in a record store somewhere in New Zealand, and I saw a bunch of their albums, and all the songs that I recognised weren't on the same album, so it was like one song was on this one song was on that one, and I'd never really gotten into Linkin Park over the years, but when I saw this one pop up, and again, it was in the 20% off sale in the long weekend, I thought, you know what, now might be a good time. And wow, Linkin Park, like, I think I've only ever listened to like 5 of their songs. 6 if you include Heavy, I suppose. And I don't know, I didn't realise just how much of the rapping that they incorporate into it. I just assumed they were a new metal band with a couple of like guest artists, so that's how clueless I was into the lineup of Linkin Park. But I've learnt so much since then listening to this, and apparently my partner, this was an album she kind of grew up with, like her parents loved their music and had the CDs driving around the car in the UK, and this one here is a 20th anniversary release with a B-Sides Rarities disc. It's like a bonus disc with a bunch of demos and live things. If you already own the album, it's not an essential buy. Like the bonus tracks aren't like groundbreaking or anything. I think there's only one completely new, never before released one, and even then I'm 99% sure that's only on like the $200 deluxe 3-disc version, so needless to say, I do still enjoy this album, and I may have picked up another cut. Actually, I'm not gonna play coy. I'm just gonna move on to the next Linkin Park album, or should I say albums, because I got Meteora and Minutes to Midnight, which I haven't had a chance to listen to yet. I'm so sorry. This one here has the final track on the album, Numb. Obviously, that's one of the songs I knew from growing up, and this one has one of the Transformers ones. What I've done. So there's one song on each of these that I recognise. I'm looking forward to listening to them so I can, you know, form my opinions more around Linkin Park, because now I have 4 of their albums. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. I think they've released 6 or 7 albums in total, but you know, I like to collect entire discographies, so I'm probably going to end up getting those at some stage. Anyway, this will probably drive you crazy if you've been watching every one of my album haul videos, but yes, I did get Ava Max's album. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I've talked about it to death, but I do really like it. There's only 2 songs on the album, and they're more like the intermission songs that I'm not too fond of, but I've grown to like all of them. Like, just all the other thoughts aside, the album on its own, when you listen to it from start to finish, they're really cool. I've come to absolutely love Call Me Tonight and Born to the Night. Those 2 songs are really good. When I first listened to it, I really liked the track Belladonna, but that's kind of like fallen down to like, I don't know, the bottom half of my favourites on the album. I really like those 2 tracks. It's good. I really like it. Ava Max is a very popular artist. She released a music video to What's Happening a couple of days ago, and people are still saying she's so underrated, she's so underrated. She got 1 million views in 24 hours. Like, for a pop star, apparently that's not particularly good, but you know, I still think that's a pretty good accomplishment for like her 7th or 8th single off that album. Moving right along to the next album of the bulk buy, I managed to get a hold of the slightly rare Group Love debut EP. This is their very first release with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks. Apparently there's supposed to be 6 tracks according to Wikipedia, but this only has 5. I don't know if it was because of the international release or the other one didn't seem like a deluxe track, but whatever. It's really interesting to see where they started to where they are now, because obviously they released their latest album in January of this year, or February, one of the 2. And that's an album I quite enjoy from this year, so it's just cool having like their very first album and then their latest album side to side. I don't have much to say about the songs. They're alright. Not my personal favourite, but it's cool just to have that piece of musical history. Okay, this one's pretty cool. I finally got a hold of a You Me 6 album, Hold Me Down. I listened to this the night I got it. I'm still not used to the guy's voice, like how it used to sound. I swear it's got a bit of vibrato to it. I can't put my finger on it. It sounds like there's something about his voice and the way he vocalizes. And I asked my partner Tamsin. She can't hear it, she doesn't know what I'm talking about, but I swear I'm not going crazy. It just sounds like there's a little bit of something while he sings, and I can't put my finger on it. If you've watched my previous album haul videos, you know I love their 2 tracks that they've released this year, Beautiful Way and Make Me Feel Alive. They're rapidly different to anything they've put out before, and the weird vibrato thing with his voice just doesn't exist. Like, I honestly believe, or thought that it was a different vocalist, but then Tamsin says, no, that's the same one that they had, you know, way back in the early 2010s. So this is, I think, their 3rd or 4th album. It's one of them. It's not their most popular album. I have picked up their most popular album since, but you know, spoiler alerts for the November album haul. It's pretty cool. I haven't listened to it too much, but I really think that similar to Simple Plan and All Time Low and All American Rejects, I'll really get into these guys eventually. Speaking of the punk rock emo, that whole genre, I managed to pick up Chronicles of Life and Death by Good Charlotte. This one was in pretty rough condition despite being brand new, but not the end of the world. The big single off this one is I Just Wanna Live. I don't think the singer of Good Charlotte, like, he hasn't got the best voice, but You know, when you're listening to like a whole Good Charlotte album from front to back, you don't care. It's fun. Apparently there's two versions of this album. There's a life and a death version, and I guess the version most people have is the life version, which is what I've got, a couple of bonus tracks, or one bonus track, sorry. Although if you ask me, it's like one of those bonus tracks where it's just the default version, the standard version of the album, but there's a track on there that has bonus track next to it, and that's not a bonus track, whatever, not a big deal. And I also got Greatest Remixes. This is one that's perplexed me for years, because I've seen it on shelves for years. It seems to be like the only Good Charlotte album you get at, say, like The Warehouse, for example. And I knew it probably wasn't going to be too great, given that I'd never, ever seen anything about it on review sites or YouTube or anything, and it was only $5. So I picked it up, and it's not great. There's like one original song, there's a whole lot of remixes. I'm not a fan of remixes. Like, I have a few remix albums, most notably the Make America Psycho Again, the Fall Out Boy remix albums, but I think the only band that's done remixes well to me, Bastille. Now, if you're wondering why I'm sitting here in front of part of my DVD and CD collection, it's because I completely forgot to finish recording the rest of that sentence. But yes, Bastille, when you look at their entire, like, not necessarily discography, but their entire library of recorded music, probably about half of them are remixes, covers, BBC One Radio Live Lounge versions. They do so many great mashups and everything. Like, it's not necessarily their bread and butter, but they are just flawless. Like, their track record when it comes to covers and mashups and mixtapes is amazing. And I even have the only one that they've released physically, the Other People's Heartache Part 3 Versus CD, which is a slight rarity similar to the Haunt CD. I've got, you know, this is a bit of a peek behind the curtain at my collection and how I love collecting rarities and bonus discs and all that sort of stuff. But their Other People's Heartache series, like, that is almost solely covers and mashups and remixes, and they are so good. So when you compare like Bastille's output to something like this, yeah, there's no competition. The only thing notable about this, I reckon, is the fact that there's a Patrick Stump remix, you know, Fall Out Boy, one of my favourite bands, and also a Metro Station cover. Like, literally, it's not a remix or anything, it's just Metro Station covering one of their songs on the CD. It's a bit weird. Now also, while I'm here, I completely forgot to mention one of the CDs I picked up, because it's just, you know, that's just kind of how I roll. 660, their second studio album. 660 are one of those bands where they're kind of annoying because every single album is called 660. They self-title pretty much everything. Now this is their second album, and I've kind of wanted it for a few years now, but there's a deluxe version, which is what this is, obviously, with four bonus tracks, and it never goes on sale. So when they had the 20% off sale on the long weekend, I thought, alright, I'll pick that one up. Now 660, if you don't know, they are like the quintessential New Zealand band, like Stan Walker and so many others. They're the Kiwiana, they're the signature music of the country now. I have a love-hate relationship with them, because some songs I really love, like White Lines, which is on this one, and Don't Forget Your Roots, which is like the ultimate New Zealand song that they have on their first album, also deluxe by the way. But then on the other hand, they have some really annoying songs that they play on the radio over and over again, like the EP that came out a couple of years ago. It's just so not my cup of tea. And their recent album, I haven't actually listened to it, and I haven't got it. I'm not sure if I ever will get it, but yeah, I forgot to bring that one up. So back to the regular video. We've saved the best two and the least exciting two till last. Speaking of Blink-182, I got Cheshire Cat. I say Cheshire Cat, but apparently that's the wrong way of saying it. This is their kinda technical debut, their first demo album, if you will, that they pretty much re-recorded and remastered to make this one. It's called Buddha, and when Mark Hoppus and Travis Barker were releasing the album 9, they decided to call it 9 because they counted Buddha as if it was part of the discography, but if you're not a Blink-182 fan, you don't care. This album, it's so raw and loud, and I can't help but love it. And look at this guy. Look, I don't know what's going on. If you couldn't tell, I literally just finished a week at work and just basically came home, had a shower, and started recording this video because I only have one day a week off now, so I need to get this done. So I don't know what I'm talking about. But if I can keep this video under 20 minutes, I'll be happy. Alright, Blink-182's Neighborhoods Deluxe Edition. I love my deluxe editions. I love all the bonus tracks, the bonus discs, everything. This album, I've listened to it twice now. I don't know what to think about it. From what I've seen, a lot of fans consider this to be quite underrated. I feel like when it came out, people were like, what is this? This is rubbish. But then when Tom DeLonge left, they were like, oh no, we missed Tom. This album wasn't so bad after all. Bring him back, it's an underrated gem, you know, that kind of thing. But listening to it on its own, it's so weird, especially to think that this was the follow-up to the self-titled album. I know they had like a 8-year hiatus when Travis had his accident, but it's a very different sounding album. I'm probably going to get into it eventually, like I'm slowly getting into old Blink-182. Actually, this album I think is middle Blink-182. You've got the old Blink-182, which is Cheshire Cat and Dude Ranch. You've got the heyday Blink-182, which is Take Off Your Pants and Jacket and Enema of the State. Then you've got my personal favourite, the self-titled album. Then there's the middle, which is Neighbourhoods. And then there's modern Blink-182, which is what got me into Blink-182. Yes, I like California and 9. Don't judge. And now we're down to the two least exciting albums. Maroon 5, Hands All Over, some reissue deluxe version. I'm not a huge Maroon 5 fan, but this was another one of those really cheap, like $6.99 I think it was. Basically like a $7 album. It's got a couple of tracks I like on here. I know most people in my life hate Maroon 5, and I don't blame them, but this is back when they were, you know, people still liked them. Now it's kind of popular to hate them, like it's popular to hate Imagine Dragons and that, and even I'm not too fond of their last 3 albums. How many have they made recently? Yeah, 3. They just keep cranking out singles. They're probably one of the biggest bands in the world, or at least Adam is one of the biggest vocalists in the world. The opening track, Misery, and Moves Like Jagger, those are songs that I'm very familiar with, so I haven't listened to it yet. Will I ever listen to it? I do always get around to listening to my albums at least once, otherwise it's just a waste of money, but yeah, you gotta be in a mood to listen to Maroon 5, at least I do. Now finally, the last album I got, it came out years ago, and every year I've wanted to get it, but it just has refused to go on sale, and I honestly expected them to release a deluxe edition, but Sia's Christmas album, Every Day is Christmas. Now this was, I think, 2018? It might have even been the year before. I'm pretty sure it was 2018. Oh, 2017. Okay, so there were 2 Japanese bonus tracks that were, you know, obviously exclusive to the Japanese version that I really liked, that I had downloaded at the time, and I'd hoped that they would release like a deluxe version the following year that had them on it, because that makes sense, right? You know, a Christmas album. It pops up on the shelf when you go to the warehouse. There's the big box of all the Christmas albums just sitting there. Last year I think it was Robbie Williams. The year before that was, I think, Christina Aguilera's re-release or something like that. There's not really much I can say about this one. Every time I hear one of these songs, it's just so cheesy. But they're feel-good songs, most of them. And Puppies Are Forever, it's a good message. It's a good album, I'm sorry. I know people are just over Christmas these days, but I'm still a very festive person. I love that time of year, and I can't get enough of it. I would have loved to have gotten the Killers Christmas album that was available for like 1 year only back in 2016. But I was unemployed at the time and couldn't afford to get it, and they've never sold it again. And I've only ever seen one copy for sale for $1,100 on eBay, because yeah, they released it once on CD and that's it. They've released it twice on vinyl for limited numbers, but still no CD. Hooray! It looks like I'm going to get this video under 20 minutes. And now for the new release music. There hasn't been too much music released this month, at least for me. Quite a lot of the tracks that I had written down were from new release albums, so I don't really feel they warrant an inclusion. But I'll start from the beginning. So, very beginning of the month, 1st of October, Foley, my favourite New Zealand band, released Rendezvous, their latest song. And it's another bop, like, it's just really good. I love it so much. Halfway through the month they released like a stripped back version where it's basically just them playing it acoustically. It's so good. They are so talented. I love Foley. I was so upset because they announced that they were doing a show, but it wasn't like a traditional show. Hallenstein's, which is the men's fashion retailer in Wellington, are opening a very small, like, a vinyl section that has something to do with Real Groovy, which is like my favourite and probably one of the only record stores in New Zealand. You know, Real Groovy from my Road to concert series. In Auckland's, they're opening up a little thing in Hallenstein's in Wellington. It's a weird crossover, and they were one of the bands that were opening for it. Oh, not opening, they were just doing like a little performance, like in the clothing store. And it was in Wellington, which is, you know, within driving distance, but I had work, and it was only like 4 or 5 days away, like when they announced it, and I was gutted because I really wanted to make it down there, but it was just going to be too much to get there. I couldn't book time off work. I could have tried, but then it would just, it's a hassle to get time off work. You know how it is. But needless to say, if they do another show with like more than a week's notice, then I'll definitely be there. Front row, I can't wait. Foley, they're so good. Okay, the very next day is when the Gorillaz released the Pink Phantom, but I've already mentioned that before, so I'll just move along to NF. The rapper NF is slightly more involved on social media now. He kept posting like little update videos, like how he's recording the new album, so album number 5. And there was this demo that was only like 30 seconds long. He said, oh, I'm probably not going to release this, but you know, I just thought I'd put it out there to share. And then a fan, this is what I believe happened according to the email from the email club. So a fan like covered it, and then he got her permission to basically finish the song. So it's this rough demo that just sounds like there's this girl just singing in like a shower or something, you know, like in the bathroom, like it's really crappy audio, but NF actually finished it. So it's like the full 3-minute rough cut demo of NF featuring what I believe is just a fan who just decided to just sing his song. Imagine that. Imagine like covering not just a song, but just like a 30-second snippet of a demo, and then having the artist be like, oh hey, can I use this and officially release it? That was really cool. My man Passenger comes back with a song for the drunk and brokenhearted off the upcoming album Songs for the Drunk and Brokenhearted. The album and the song are slightly different names, but the same thing. And this one's really good. The album leaked a while ago, like a couple of months ago, like in full. Some website had it up for a pre-order and you could buy it digitally. And then whoever did that actually got the full album. So there are people out there, and even on the Passenger Facebook page, that have this leaked version. And they keep teasing us like, oh, it sounds so different, but I like the new version more. And I need it. I want it. I have to have the leaked version, but you can't get it anywhere. Anyway, the song's great. They've put up pre-orders, and if you don't know Passenger, every second album has like a major release, and then every other one in between is only like a little cardboard sleeve pre-order, like exclusive to the web store. But Patchwork, the album, like the lockdown quarantine album that was mostly covers and that he said was never going to be released physically, has an exclusive pre-order, but you have to get the deluxe vinyl bundle. So it's the deluxe 2-disc CD of the new album, Songs for the Drunk and Brokenhearted, the deluxe 2 vinyl, and then it's the Patchwork CD and Patchwork vinyl, and that's the only way to get it. And it's like it's $85 US for the bundle, and then like $75 for shipping, and that's US, $160 US, which in New Zealand, it's probably like $300. I have every single Passenger album and every single deluxe version of his albums that you can get. This is going to drive me crazy that there's one I can't get. Like how I mentioned before, I don't have the Killer's Christmas album. I'm going to hate that fact for years that I don't have it. I can only hope that he's going to release it eventually, but it's probably not going to happen. But I'm not going to sink hundreds of dollars into this vinyl bundle when I don't listen to vinyls. I don't have a vinyl player. I'm not going to start collecting vinyls, because if I start collecting vinyls, I'm going to get every CD I already have on vinyl, and it's just going to be a never-ending cycle. Johnny Blair, the New Zealand artist, released Breakdown. I like Johnny Blair. He's not a huge artist. He's got a few followers, and I'm one of them. I like Johnny Blair. I saw him at an open mic night years ago, and I followed him ever since. And this is like a pretty cool song. It's got good music. It's a good song. I really enjoy it and recommend it. Finally, Mus-Time, the New Zealand R&B artist who's been a little quiet for a while, has released his new EP. And there are some really deep themes on there. And I do very much enjoy Mus-Time. I know him personally, so I can't well, yes I can. I can rave about him as much as I want, same as I can with Redisi, who I know personally, but he's really cool. And I do recommend giving that one a listen to as well. I'm getting really tired. I keep looking out the window because my neighbour's kids are deciding, your front yard looks like a nice place to play. Oh my gosh. I'm becoming an old grumpy boomer. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this album haul video for October 2020. I'm proud of myself for managing to ramble through this within an hour, so I can go rest now. Actually, first I need to have a sandwich, and then I'm gonna go play with my rats. And then I say I'm gonna rest, but I'm probably gonna do like some washing or something. You know, life. Thank you all very much for watching. Let me know any thoughts you have on any of the albums. If you feel like leaving a comment, if not, just your viewership is much appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. 1st of December, I had a rock band night where I was just playing through all the Blink-182 songs that are on Rock Band Rivals, of which I think there's about 15. The song that's on here, I think it's Up All Night, is probably the worst one to play on Rock Band. Does that necessarily sour my thoughts and opinions on an album? It shouldn't, but you know, if I can get the 5 gold stars on every other song except for this one, it kind of annoys me. Whatever. This album wasn't so bad after all. Bring it back, it's an underrated gem, you know, that kind of thing.